Hi, this is how to make my version of a flute mask for playing inside together if you need to. Julie Budd is a band director who I don't know, but I came across her YouTube video and her suggestions for making flute masks. So I took what she did and I made my own modifications on it. So here's how I made my mask. The first thing that I did is I chose my material, and it's a little bit stretchy, but it's like jersey material, so like those jersey sheets, and it's the kind of material that won't fray when you cut it. So I had my Cricut machine actually cut these out, or you could trace it and cut it by hand, but it was really easy to have the machine cut it out. And then I sewed this pretty close to the edge. It's about the width of my fingernail, and I sewed it from here to here and here to here. I didn't come across this part, and so after you do that, you have the obviously the right side together, and then you're going to turn that right side out. So the next step is that you want to find the center on both the top and the bottom. So I just lined up my points there and then found the center here, and then you're going to put a pin to just mark each of those. So the next thing you're going to do is pin the top and the bottom, and on the top we're going to leave about a ½ inch on each side, and you're going to make these pleats, and I'm not sure if that's actually what they're called in real sewing, but I'm right about here. That's about 1 inch, and I'm going to put the first part of my finger there, and then I'm going to fold back to there, and that is 1 pin. Then I'm going to overlap it a little bit, and this is where you can adjust if you want to make them smaller or bigger. So I'm going to do 4 folds, but I can overlap them more, and then the mask is going to be just a little bit smaller. But this pattern fits anywhere from 6th graders up through adults. The good news is that this mask is pretty baggy, so that the wind can get through, or not through, but the wind can circulate a little bit, otherwise you wouldn't be able to play the flute. So here's 3, and on the 4th one, in the pattern there's that spot that is not sewn shut, but it's gonna be part of the ear flap, and so that one I fold here, and then I'm actually going along that edge there, so my fold lines up to where this little flap starts. Okay, just so you can see, that's how that lines up. So I did 4 pleats there. Okay, so now it's time to do the other side. So here was my one, and I'm gonna get this about even, and then I'm gonna put the first crease of my finger down right where I want to line it up, and then I pull that back over my finger and then fold it so that it's a little pleat there. The good thing about this part is that the pleats don't have to be exactly perfect. They don't have to be completely even. It's gonna look fine no matter how you do it, because it ends up being so baggy in the end that it's very forgiving for sewers like me who are terrible. Okay, now you want to do the bottom side. So here is the front of the top side, and you want the pleats going the same way. So you just want to turn it around and make sure that you start at that middle pin there. And for the bottom side, you're going to make them meet in the middle. You don't need to leave that spot. So that spot at the top is going to be for your nose. Obviously on the bottom you don't need a spot for your nose. So you're gonna do pleats again, 4 of them on each half. Okay, so now you've pinned both sides of the top and of the bottom. And what you're going to be doing is sewing along these pleats here. I like to start at the little flappy piece, and then I want to make sure that I'm sewing so that when my sewing machine comes across here that I'm not going up and pushing these. So I'm sewing it this way so that they stay down. So you have to sew 1/2 at a time of the bottom and then come over to the other earpiece and sew from the earpiece all the way into the center so that these stay down. Again, you don't want to be going against these so that the machine is pushing them that way. And then you're also going to do that to the top. Okay, now we're going to sew, and a little disclaimer, I learned how to sew in 7th grade summer school home ec, so my technique is probably not correct at all, and I'm sure that people who actually know how to sew could make this look really lovely. I don't claim to have the correct technique, but here's how I did it. Here's the bottom here. It's the exact same thing, it's just from a different angle. Okay, then you can take all of the pins out. Okay, the next thing that you're going to do is find out how it's most comfortable for you. So I like it with those pointing out here rather than them coming in because they're gonna get in the way of my eyes. So I'm gonna put my nose piece right here, and I'm just using a pipe cleaner. So I'm going to measure from the first pleats, and then I'm going to cut the pipe cleaner that long. You can also use like tin from a pie pan, and if you're doing that with you just cut a piece of the tin and you put it there, and your sewing machine probably can go straight through it. I'm going to do a zigzag on my machine, and again, I don't know if that's right, but it seems to hold them in place just fine. So that's going to be for the nose there. You can also get those, you can buy the special nose pieces that stick on. I know you can get those on Amazon, but I had pipe cleaners at home, and this zigzag thing seems to work okay. Okay, so here's my mask, and the pipe cleaner's right there on my machine. I'm just going to put that all the way over there, and then it kind of does a zigzag. So here we go. I gotta have this lined up, and it's kind of thick, so I have to be careful about how I get it in here. Pull that down. I'm just doing this so that the zigzag goes on either side of the pipe cleaner. I'm gonna have to back it up. Just to reinforce it there. See, the stitches just go right over the pipe cleaner, one on each side. I just wanted you to see this zigzag again. I just make sure to go past the edges, otherwise it gets pointy. And that is going to be on the outside of the mask, so it's not next to your skin, so it doesn't poke you. I'm sure that some awesome seamstresses will make this look much more fantabulous than I did, but mine works. So the next thing we're going to do is our little earpieces. I cut the elastic about 7 inches long, and then I tied in a knot there. You can use elastic however you want, put it in however you want, or you can even use hair ties. So what I'm doing here is I'm making sure again that my pipe cleaner is on the outside. So I'm going to find these little tabs here, and I want to make sure I'm coming in this way so that pipe cleaner on outside and just the thread is on the inside here. So I put this in here, and I'm just going to sew from here to here, and then I'm going to, on these 2 spots, I'm going to go back and forth a bunch of times just to reinforce it and make it stronger, because that's where the stress is going to be when you're wearing it. Okay, so when you're done, you have this like almost pouch thingy. So you're gonna wanna figure out where to cut the hole in the mask. So you wanna go ahead and put that on the nose and form that around the nose, and then put that around your ears. Make sure that this gets a nice seal around here and then around the chin there. So what I do is my mouth is right here, should be kind of right under your eye, and then this is where my flute would go, but you can see how all of this hangs. So I'm gonna kind of lift this up a bit and put the hole right here so that my flute can come in here. So I'm gonna mark that and just make a tiny little cut in there. And because this is jersey fabric, it's gonna stretch just a little bit to get my flute in there. And you may have to cut just a tiny little bit more, but you don't want to cut a hole, just one little straight line there. And then your flute will fit in. And it gives you enough room so that the air can circulate and you can actually play flute. So I hope you find this useful and have fun making your flute masks. One last look here. So that's my hole for where the flute goes in, and the two earpieces. And if you open it up from ear to ear, it ends up about being 7 inches.